Hello, Mustang basketball fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm your host, Kelly Loft, here at Studio One and at smsumustangs.com. Glad you could be with us again this week as we take an inside look at Mustang men's basketball with the head coach, Brad Bigler. We'll take a look at two Mustang victories this past weekend as SMSU beat Wayne State and beat Augustana on Hawaiian night. Mustangs slowly moving up in the conference standings. We'll take a look at those games, look at the highlights, and preview this weekend's games in Concordia and St. Cloud State coming up later on this weekend. But with us again is the head coach, Brad Bigler. Mustangs with a couple of wins last week, beating Wayne State 73-58 and beating Augustana 80-77. And Coach, great to see you again, and feels good to get a couple of nice wins at home. Yeah,
it was nice to to be back home and to be able to put on the performance we did this weekend. It was a lot of fun, and I thought our guys, they gave everything and made some plays in both games to come out with a win. Well,
more importantly, obviously on the weekend, you've got to take care of business on Friday night in Wayne State, a team that beat Mankato on Saturday, so you knew they had ability to win on the road, and they've beaten Concordia this year on the road, and they're a solid squad, and you guys came out and kind of played their style. That's what Wayne wanted to do, slow it down a bit, and that's how it was early on, but you're still able to put up 73 points against the top scoring team in the conference and able to shoot at a high percentage.
And yeah, you're right. I think taking care of that game on Friday night's the key to the weekend. You want to start off on the right note, and early on again in that first half, we were playing at Wayne's tempo. I thought they did a great job of handling our press. They were not turning the basketball over like some teams have in the past, and so yeah, it was a low possession game, but we had to just be efficient with our opportunities.
Yeah, Mustangs led by 5 at half on Friday, 32-27, but in the second half outscored the Wildcats by 10. SMSU shoots 68% in the second half and 59.2% of season-high shooting, and a very high percentage, and you got some very good looks, Coach. You did turn the ball over 18 times, but when you were able to hang on to the basketball, you're pretty efficient on the offensive end.
Yeah, and that goes back to our guys just buying into creating easy opportunities for teammates. I said it all weekend long. I thought our shot selection this weekend was as good as it's been all year, and hopefully we can build off that.
Yeah, William Giddings and Jordan Miller both had three-pointers in the game, and Giddings, you can't get much of a better stat night. Besides, he did miss a couple of free throws, but he had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 5 of 5 shooting, 3 three-pointers, an assist and a steal in just 24 minutes.
And it's kind of funny because last week we were talking, and we were talking about some shot selection stuff with Will, and I looked at his stats, and he's shooting the highest percentage on the team right now from the 3, so I told him, you can be a little bit different now. If you get a drive and kick situation, let it fly. And he responded well and knocked down 3 big threes in Friday night's game.
And we continue to see in the backup players that come in the game. Tremel Barnes had 6 assists, 5 rebounds in the game. Did have some turnovers, but again, showing that ability to have a second person handle the basketball. Last year, it was Jordan Miller that had to do a lot of that ball handling when Bernard was on the bench, but Tremel continues to distribute the basketball and able to knock down some shots when he has that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole bench all weekend long was good. I thought Tremel was good. Casey Susan-Guth was efficient. Lavion West brought a lot of good energy this weekend, and Trent Carlson was able to knock down some shots. So our guys that came off the bench this weekend were ready to go, and anytime they can be productive like they were this weekend, we're a tough basketball team.
Yeah, you look on Friday night, Casey Susan-Guth had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 3 block shots in 15 minutes. He was 4 of 5 shooting. Lavion West, 3 of 4 from the field, had 6 points, a couple of assists. Those are big-time numbers for those guys to give those starters a breather. And these guys have both started this year a couple of times, Lavion and Casey, and able to do that. And you look at the next night, Lavion 4 of 6 shooting, and that's the kind of production you could take that every night out of Lavion, and more than likely the Mustangs are going to win if he can make 3 to 4 field goals per game.
And with Lav, it really comes back to understanding when to attack. He's done a great job of improving that area. He gets in his rhythm. We talk a lot about rhythm with him. If he can get to that 10 to 15 foot range and he can do a pull-up jumper in balance, that's a shot that is very tough to stop. And it's just a matter of choosing when to do that and understanding when when it's the right time with regards to defense and how they're defending them.
Well, the Mustangs did what they had to do, and that was beat Wayne State on Friday to keep their hopes for that top half of the conference, or top 4 seeds in the conference tournament this upcoming March. But, of course, then the next night, Mustangs hosting Augustana, a team that beat Minnesota State Mankato the night prior in a rivalry game, Coach. It's Hawaiian night, and there was a lot of buzz all week, and especially building up to that day. And Augie was going to bring a lot of fans, and they did. But just an overall great atmosphere for college basketball, and everyone behaved fairly well and just into the game, and it was an exciting contest as well. And Mustangs able to pull out the 80-77 victory and a key run late in the game. But first of all, your overall thoughts, a lot of support by the students and the community of Marshall and the surrounding communities.
Yeah, we were very thankful just with the overall support. Many people, and for me it's tough because I don't necessarily look at the fans section to see how full it really is, but many people say it was maybe the most fans we've ever had at a Hawaiian night. And just very thankful for the community to come out and support us. And we always sell the community with regards to recruiting. I mean, we don't hide from the fact that Marshall is only 15,000. We use that as a selling point, and because with that selling point, I mean, that's why we get the fan support that we do. We're able to connect with the community, and it's just great to see the community out and supporting us, especially on Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, of course, playing exciting basketball. It didn't matter who the opponent was. It's Hawaiian night. It's going to be a big crowd, and it happened to be Augustana, a team that you lost to earlier in the season, but an exciting contest. You shoot another high percentage, 59% in the game, and at times in the second half. I mean, both teams shot very well in the second half, but you had some great looks, and Matt Zager was the beneficiary of a lot of those great passes by his teammates, and he was able to knock down some shots.
Yeah, and he just getting that action to the rim. I think that's what you see with Matt when you watch the clips. He gets a lot of layups, and he's a hard guy to defend because you think you have him stopped, and at the last second he'll get an angle or turn the corner on you, and he finishes at the rim. But yeah, just a great performance by him, and I think both teams, Augustana and us, knocked down a lot of tough shots. Both teams played at a pretty high level, and it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, Zager with tied a season high with 19 points. He was 7 of 9 shooting, a balanced attack for Southwest as well. Bernard Birch, what a night, 7 of 10 from the field. He had 14 points, 4 assists. Jordan Miller, 5 of 10 from the field. He had 12 points and 5 rebounds. And as you mentioned, Lavion West, a very good game off the bench. He also had 10 points. Mustangs, again, had a 3-point lead. In the final, under 10 seconds to go, Matt at the free throw line did miss a chance to give the Mustangs a 4-point lead. And, Coach, let's talk about those final seconds. You've done it both ways in your coaching career, and you've worked under Coach Deeman. And, you know, what's the thought process of maybe fouling up by 3 or just letting it go what happened? Obviously, it worked out. Schilling missed the 3-point attempt, but there's different styles, and all depends who's on the floor and you know, the situation, and kind of explain that to the fans.
Well, I think the biggest thing is your personnel that you have on your roster. Last year with Scott Rail and Taylor Hughesby, and I think in that situation you would have probably saw us foul because knowing that they're going to come down, probably try to make the first one, obviously miss the second free throw, that you have 2 guys who are big, strong, and can rebound. Well, with this team, it's a little bit different. We don't have those guys, so to speak. Nick had fouled out at that point in the game, and we're a little bit lighter and a little bit thinner. But so I thought it was in our best interest just to defend the possession out, and fortunately we were able to come up with a win.
Yeah, Mustangs were up by 5 with under 20 seconds to go, and Schilling hit an off-balance 3 and able to inbound the ball later on in the ball game. And the Mustangs, Zager able to make 1 of 2 free throws to give the Mustangs a 3-point lead, and the eventual win 80-77. So the Mustangs a very key win as well, Coach, because if Augustana beats us, they've got the tiebreaker, beating us twice. Now we've split during the regular season, so lots of things could happen. But a big win nonetheless for the Mustangs as they sweep Wayne State and Augustana. Mustangs now 12-9 overall. an 11-6 in conference play, and right now just a half game out of third place in the conference right now, and fifth place overall in the NSIC, but a lot of basketball left, 5 important games. I'll look at some of the stats, Coach. Just looking at some of the numbers here in the 2 games. Obviously, what you do as a coach, you tell your guys, we're going to shoot 25 times in the second half, and we're going to make 17 both. How do you coach that? But an amazing, you shoot 68%, 17 to 25 both nights in the second half. I mean, the last 3 of the last 4 games, SMSU shooting over 50% as a team in the games. That's pretty impressive numbers.
And then the credit all goes back to the guys. We've talked about it many times in Mustang basketball. Just play to your strengths, create easy opportunities for your teammates, and share the basketball. And I think you're seeing a lot of that type of action where they're not just settling on contested jump shots. We're getting action to the rim where, yeah, obviously when you get to the rim you think score first, you want to take those layup opportunities, but if it's not there, kick it out to an open guy. Share that basketball. And that's what I think you're seeing, especially in the second half, where teams are locking up, whether they're locking up on shooters and we're getting layups, or we're just getting some action on the backside where we're getting a backdoor or screening action on the backside that's giving us an opportunity to get an easy opportunity.
And speaking of passing the ball, distributing it, you look at Bernard Birch over the weekend. On Saturday night against a Division I transfer, Dre Murray, Bernard Birch, 14 points, 4 assists, just 1 turnover. Had just 2 turnovers on Friday night. So you look at 50-plus minutes, just 3 turnovers. A very good game for Bernard on Saturday. And not that he's been playing poorly at all the last few weeks, but I tell you what, he really came out on Saturday and really stepped up in a big-time game.
Yeah, I thought both of those point guards were going at it all night long. It was a lot of fun to kind of watch those guys compete at that level. Bernard was able to get to the rim pretty much at will. And again, a lot of times that just depends on how teams are going to defend our certain actions, and whether they're going to take perimeter shooters away or they're going to make him finish at the rim. And that was the case on Saturday night where they were going to make him finish over big guys, and he was able to knock down a few of those teardrops and get some angles at the rim.
And, of course, the Mustangs do get that victory, just 11 turnovers on Saturday night against Augustana. Mustangs with a rebound advantage of 27-24. They out-rebounded Wayne State 33-23, and very good numbers for the Mustangs this past weekend as, again, they get a couple of victories. And I tell you what, the key down the stretch in that second half against Augie, you're down 4 with just over 3 minutes to go and a 9-0 run, and it was on both ends of the floor. You got a big and one by Jordan Miller. We'll see the highlights shortly, but then the next couple possessions, you get a block shot by Lavion West and a tied-up ball. You force a turnover on Murray. And
don't forget about Will Giddings' 3.
Correct.
He had a
Giddings
3
hit
in there.
3 down. We were down 6, I think, when he hit that 3, and able to come back. But it was, again, the defensive end of the floor. When you needed to get some stops, you did, and that was something that you stressed late in the game.
Yeah, Lavion West, we talked about that block shot, which is on the highlights, was in help side, and then they kicked it to the corner, and it looked like McCaffrey was going to get a wide open 3, and Lav comes out of nowhere, and he honestly might be the only guy in the gym that could have blocked that shot. And later on in the game, Will Giddings makes a big defensive a play as well where he gets a steal. And so it was just nice to see those guys step up and be able to make those plays when we needed them.
Well, it was an exciting night of basketball. We'll take a look at the highlights from that game here shortly, but let's take a look at the highlights from the first game of the weekend. That was against Wayne State at the RA facility. As the Wildcats coming to town, Mustangs beat Wayne State earlier this season, back in early December, the first conference weekend, but they do have some very good players. And again, the Mustangs win 73-58. And we're here in the first half, going left to right. You saw Bernard Birch with the basket. And here's those 3-pointers we're talking about from William Giddings.
Just good action by Bernard Birch to get to the rim and to be able to create that opportunity for Will. As far as Wayne State's concerned, I thought they were much improved since the last time we played them. A very disciplined team, a team that knows how to play to their strengths, and like we said earlier, they control the tempo of the game, majority of the game. We were just fortunate to be able to be knocking down some shots.
And Jamel Barnes in trouble, but gets it to Nick Smith for the easy basket. Nick, 7 of 11 in the ball game with 14 points. There's Bernard Birch with that jump shot. Also saw earlier, a couple highlights ago, William Giddings, his second 3 of the night. And here the Mustangs very patient on the offensive end, getting a basket for Nick Smith, and here's you, Casey Susanguth, getting fouled.
And we worked a lot. We were going up against a zone there earlier, and that's something that we put a lot of time in here last week to prepare for Wayne's different types of zone defenses. And we'll do it again this week, going in against Concordia and St. Cloud, are two teams who play zone defense as well. But it was nice to see our patience and our discipline when we went up against the zone this past weekend.
And you saw the great hustle by Susanguth off the missed layup by Barnes, but he got the tip in. Giddings with a 3, and here's a steal and a dunk for William Giddings.
And again, this is sometimes just those scramble situations off the press. We know we're not going to turn the basketball over every time when we press, but it's more of a way of wearing the team down. And as you see right there, off the scramble situation, coming back in the half court, Will makes a plant of ball and goes and gets a dunk.
Mustangs led by 5 at half. Start the second half. Birch driving and gets that teardropper to fall in. Now big old board put back for Nick Smith.
Again, you'll see Nick just staying with the play. Matt gets in and misses the layup, but Nick follows it up with a nice finish.
SMSU 7 of 12 from long range, and Miller hit 3 in the game, and this is one of them. Big second half for Jordan Miller. Didn't play much because of foul trouble in the first half.
Yeah, he was in foul trouble the first half, and I thought that's where Trent and a couple other guys stepped up their play. But he got in a rhythm early in that second half, and we've noticed when he plays around that 25 minutes, his legs are just better. His shot looks smoother, and it's something that we have to take a look at, especially back-to-back games.
Giddings with the dunk. He was called for a technical for holding on the rim, something that you were called a couple times in your career, Coach. Maybe not.
If I could dunk it, you know what, maybe I would hang on the rim too.
Yeah, no kidding. Here's Carlson getting the ball and drilling a big 3 for Southwest off of the old board by Southwest. Not many second chance points is in the game, but that was one there, and there's a great alley-oop with Jordan Miller. Great pass to Love for the dunk. A couple more plays here for Jordan Miller, who again had a big second half, finished the game with 13 points. And, Mustangs putting on that press, and maybe if you don't get a turnover, at least it gets the team out of rhythm, and there's a forced shot, and you get the rebound, and you come back the other way.
And a lot of times, what you'll see is just in those scramble situations, guys taking shots that aren't normally used to taking, with a guy flying from behind at them or a guy flying out at them. Or matchups may be different. Sometimes we'll have a bigger guy guarding a perimeter player, and they try to take him off the dribble, and all of a sudden we have another guy step in to take a charge. So there's a lot of different actions that take place in those scramble situations.
Zager in the paint finds West on the right wing. He'll drive and put up the layup. And here's a nice pass by Jordan Miller on an end out right off the backside of a Wayne player and draws the foul. Heads up play by Miller. And Miller here on the top of your screen on the right wing, taking a long range 3.
And at that point, he was feeling pretty good at that point. So anytime he's catching the ball in rhythm, we'll let him let that fly.
Mustangs closing out the second half. Casey Susanguth, a layup from West, and then West off an assist from Barnes. You'll see Live at the top of the screen now going back door. Great look. And on the defensive end, a block. Mustangs 8 blocks in this game. Susanguth with 3, and he got one there. And then Zager closes out the ball game with a hoop. Again, Mustangs shoot 68% in the second half. They were able to keep it alive, and Susanguth there with the hoop, and then defensively steal by Zager. Mustangs win 73-58, and as we mentioned with the victory, number 11 on the season after this game, 11-9 and 10-6 overall with the 73-58 win over the Wildcats. And the Mustangs then put their focus toward Augustana, and of course, Coach, again, the hardest part is getting through that first game, and because you're excited to play against a very good team, obviously in Augustana and Hawaiian night, but you got to work that next morning, and you're going to play a kind of a different style of teams. You got Wayne State lot more zone, slow it down. In Augustana, they'll love to shoot and press. Big changes there the next morning when you had to go to shoot around.
Well, the one thing that's similar with both of them is they both have great guard play, and that's something that we prepared for all week. Our matchups were a little bit different because of it, but I thought guys stepped up, and for the most part, we handled, we made them work for everything. I think that's what you try to do. I think they're so talented that at times, whether it's the Wayne guys or the other guys, that they're going to score points, but just make them work at doing it. And,
of course, knock on wood, Mustangs done very well the last few games in shooting free throws. You're 16 of 18 on Saturday night against Augustana. The only miss, one of the misses, that last one there in the final 10 seconds by Zager. But, the guys are still working at it. Susan Guth made a couple of big ones, and Zager 5 of 7. And, throughout the entire season, Mustangs shooting very well from the line.
And we talked about that early on in the season, that there's different ways of winning ball games, especially at the end when you need to close out. And free throws are something that this team has taken a lot of pride in, and we've been doing a pretty good job so far.
Such a huge play. You can extend a game. Obviously, if you're trailing, to make it some free throws to get back into it, but making that an extra possession game is very important. And we saw that on Saturday as the Mustangs were able to make some free throws down the stretch. And we saw Augustana missed 2 with the Mustangs up 3 points with just over a minute to go, and those are big. That's an entire possession you're missing right there on those free throws. So SMSU able to shoot very well from the line, 16 of 18. Well, we've talked about the Augustana game. Let's take a look at the highlights from Hawaiian night, Mustangs and Augustana, and lots of highlights here to look at. And Mustangs here in the front court in this first half, going left to right.
It's always always takes a lot of pressure off once you can get that first basket.
Yeah.
And
crowd's ready to explode, at least to cheer that first hoop, and Mustangs able to do that with a Birch jumper, and then you see Jordan Miller with the 3, and then as you mentioned, Zager, big second half, but coming through here with the basket at the top of the screen, top of the key, and now driving and pull up, and step under for a shot in the lane. Mustangs force a turnover, and in transition you'll see Birch finding West in the left corner. Kind of a scramble play, but able to pick it up and get the hoop.
And good finish by Lavion to be able to go through that contact. Going into the game, right now it's been our kind of identity to be that pressing team, to put pressure on them. We felt that we were going to try to wear them down throughout the night. As you see right there, that's a big charge call by Casey Schilling to be able to step up here. You'll see Nick Smith, the following play, stepping up, and great job of guys stepping up and taking those charges, because if they go for a block right there, that doesn't put the pressure on them when Cody gets those fouls.
There's a dunk for Giddings, 3 of 5 from the field for the sophomore from Blaine. There's a foul on Casey Susan Guth on a nice pass from Barnes, and the Mustangs putting pressure in the backcourt and just throwing it away. Turnover on Augustana, and then after a basket by the Vikings, Mustangs come down and take advantage of an offensive rebound. Just 8-0 boards in the game. Didn't need many because you shot, but if you shot so well, but pick up a big offensive rebound and a putback here, and a great job by West to crash the boards. And you just see the bench from Augustana very upset that happens. That's kind of one of those, momentum killers, and Mustangs able to get the basket. And Giddings with the 3, and now Smith posting up. And the Mustangs shooting 50% in this first half, led by as many as 8 in the first half. Vikings were able to cut it down. Here's a steal and layup for Barnes. And a few plays in a row here by Bernard Birch.
With this lineup, with Casey on the floor, there's a lot more spacing with Casey on the floor, not necessarily occupying a block, which gives Bernard the opportunity to get in the paint and do some of the things that he does right here, where just that ability to get by that defender and then to be able to finish with contact.
Smooth action to the rim for Birch. And Miller, who had 12 points, 5 of 10. Had a good night shooting inside the arc, gets a basket. Now we go to the second half. Again, Mustangs trail 36-35. And this is where the second half, you'll see a lot of layups for SMSU, and there's one right there. Great pass, Miller to Zager. And SMSU 17 to 25 shooting from the field in this second half.
And a lot of action to the rim. Not to overcomplicate it. I mean, it's drive hard, make them defend, and if they're going to help, then you draw and kick. If not, then go finish at the rim.
A couple of big hits for West. That was a tough one from 15 feet. Got that one to go. Always key to be able to knock down some of those shots as well and spread out that defense. Saw Birch with a hoop. And again, West, 4 of 6 shooting, 10 points. Great night for West, and you'll see him at the top of the screen now drive, and again, a tough fadeaway jumper.
Yeah, he makes that look easy, doesn't he?
Nice job by Miller. Couldn't get it to go, but gets his old board. Big put back, and then here's a huge three for Carlson. His only 3 of the night, but it was a big one here in the bottom of your screen.
Good action. Great pass by Lavion. Trent steps up, and that's why he's on the floor to be able to knock down those big threes.
And Zager can also pass the basketball. He'll drive baseline and find the open man, and Birch drives and gets the layup. And then Zager, big and one. Again, this game, it's down to just a possession or two going both ways, and getting down to the crunch time now here in this big conference battle, the kind of the showcase game of the night. Zager with the hoop. Here's a big offensive rebound for SMSU to able to come up with it, and a big turnaround jumper by Birch.
And you know, the 5'9" guy scoring over the 6'8" guy. So I think that's just something that we've been able to improve a lot on, is those one-on-one situations and scoring. Early on in the year, we were missing a lot of those layups.
Yeah, Mustangs crashing. Zager right there, and the putback. And we're talking about now Mustangs down, I think, 6 points at this point, and Giddings with a huge 3 at the right-hand corner, the top of your screen. Extra pass here by Birch and finding Giddings.
With confidence, steps up, and he shot the ball well all weekend.
And Miller with a couple of big baskets here. And this is what you need, guys, to step up late in the game, and Miller did that.
Yeah, just finding and the ball will work itself back around, and Will Giddings with a great backdoor pass to Jordan Miller.
Great read, and that's just, you know, team basketball. And again, another backdoor and one for Miller. That cut it down to a 1-point deficit. And here's the blocks we're talking about here by Lavion West.
Ball gets reversed. He's helping out, and then comes back, and to be able to make that play, and then Will Giddings to step up and take the charge. Just an outstanding hustle plays by both guys.
Mustangs down a point. Zager gives the Mustangs a lead. Posting up, spins.
Just a simple play coming out of a timeout where we wanted to, you know, we feel like Matt's a pretty good post offensive guy, so to get him on the block versus another guard is a good matchup for us.
Well, there's the steal, so another turnover. Augustana committing a turnover late in the game, and this put the Mustangs up 3. Nick Smith will get the basket off a pass from Bernard Birch.
Just a great read on the screen, and that's a good basketball play by Nick Smith.
There's a break for the Mustangs here. They lose the ball, but the shot clock winding down, but the Augustana player steps on the end line and gave the Mustangs the shot clock then shut off, and SMSU able to make some big plays down the stretch. Yeah, there's still plenty of time on the shot clock, about 4 on there. And here is a 3-pointer by Augustana. Got him within 2 points. Kind of good defense by the Mustangs, though he took some time off the clock, which was very key.
Yeah, and I thought actually the possession before they called a timeout, I thought our guys defended well, and I made them make a few extra passes, which took about 5-6 seconds off the clock.
And Zager at the free throw line makes the first. This one goes in and misses the second, but Mustang's able to hold off here. We'll see the last shot. Augustana calls a timeout, and then the horn blew because the timeout wasn't finished yet, so the horn automatically blows. Or, you know, it was kind of a tough situation, Coach. I'm sure now they're just saying, hey, just forget about it, Matt. But Augie gets the rebound, and they get it to Schilling. You know he's going to take the shot.
And gets a pretty good look, and again, just a situation where we were able to defend and get the stop, and you see how the fans just kind of storm the court. A lot of fun for them as well. Just a great environment to be in, and very thankful for their support.
Yeah, it was a very good win. 80-77. Mustangs get the victory over the Vikings at the RA facility. Now, Coach, you go on the road, some big ones coming up. Friday night at Concordia St. Paul, and then go to St. Cloud State. You did beat both of these programs earlier this year in Marshall, but you go back to the road again and got to get some big road wins this weekend.
And now's the time. I mean, to be able to get up into that top half, you have to win a couple games on the road, and these are as big as they get now, and I guess you'll say that pretty much every game now the rest of the way. But it's been a lot of fun. These guys have worked hard. Practice has already started off good this week, and let's go try to make it happen over in Concordia and St. Cloud.
Well, the Mustangs on the road, and then they'll be back at home for the final 2 regular season home games, February 17th and 18th against Bemidji State and Minnesota Duluth. So lots coming up here in the next few weeks. It's going to be an exciting run here in the month of February for Mustang men's basketball. For the head coach, Brad Bigler, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. Until next time, go Mustangs.